Planet magazine.
Also known as Wednesday 13.
Welcome to Brutal Planet Magazine.
Welcome to Brutal Planet Magazine.
Welcome to the video. Welcome to Brutal Planet magazine.
You're listening to Brutal Planet.
Hey, what's up, everybody? TJ Pierce here from Drana Pool, and you're listening to Brutal Planet Media right here. Get yourself.
Hey, I'm Steve from Within the Ruins, and this is Brutal Planet.
Greetings, Brutal Planet. We are live at 9:38. Well, it's 9:25 a.m. PST. At 10, we have Keith Wallen from Breaking Benjamin, but we went live just a little bit early today, so we can spill the tea. How you been, Joey?
Been good.
You haven't been on in a minute, man. You're
No,
in
I know.
Belize.
Yeah, I was in Belize on vacation last week. I was sick every day that I was gone. It kind of sucked. Yeah, the week before that, I had a conference that I had to go to and stuff. So yeah, I've been missing in action for a little bit.
You look like you lost some weight, man.
I have lost 20 pounds, Dustin. You're the only one that's noticed.
Looking good, man.
Thank you.
Looking good.
I always joke around that, like, you know, you're fat when you lose 20 pounds and nobody notices. But, no, it's probably more the haircut than anything else. Like, yeah.
No, I can see it in your face a little bit, and then in your chest. Like it looks like you've slimmed down a little bit.
Yeah, well, I've been out walking a lot more again. I think I mentioned before that I had a major knee surgery last year, and I wasn't able to walk for several months. But now I'm getting out on, longer walks, and it's been good to get out. So,
You know me, I'm a big advocate for health, so I've been going to the gym all week, and I'm like I have like old man soreness now. That's the problem that I have. Like after I work out, it's like my body's sore for like 2 days. Like I did my biceps, and it's like my joints are still sore.
But it's a feel good sore, right?
Yeah.
Because like
it's
you
kind
did
of
something.
kind of feel good. It's
Yeah.
like it'll feel good when it's gone. But
I always find like muscle soreness is like a feel good soreness, but like joint soreness is not.
yeah, it's not really joint. It's like the ligaments where my muscle connects,
Right.
and it's like it's so sore. But we have a lot of great guests booked, not only today but all next week. Just to give people an idea, we have Max Cavalera and Igor Cavalera on Monday, and then Tuesday we have Tim from Soil, and then Wednesday we rescheduled the German metalcore band Defocus, and then I think is it Thursday we have Doll Riot. Who do I got Friday? It's crazy because Raquel just messaged me too. She has a bunch of bands. So she's like, I got a bunch of stuff coming your way. So be prepared. We got a lot of upcoming stuff. Oh, why is this playing? Hold on. I just want to look at our channel real quick and make sure that I'm not forgetting anything, because a lot of these dates get switched around too. So what have you been listening to lately? Anything new? Anything good?
What have I been listening to? I don't know. Being sick just kind of knocked me out. I've been sleeping a lot.
I got you. That's good.
It's kind of weird. Like I've actually been going back and listening to some of the older stuff. I find like until a lot of like new music comes out for the year, I find like January, February is kind of my months to go back to like old school stuff. So
yeah,
been rocking out to like 20-year-old music.
I mean, I'm always rocking out to old music, so I can't really.
Like once the new music really starts coming out during the year, I find myself cycling through that a lot stuff, But
I've been listening to a lot to that the Requiem stuff.
Yeah, you told me that.
Yeah, they're so good. I was really I was really stoked to get to interview them because they're like one of those bands that's kind of new too. Like I don't think a lot of people have heard of them yet.
Is this their debut album?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the singer Damien was telling me that they worked with Steve Evans, who I don't know if you know who he is. He's like a pretty big producer. He started with the Dillinger Escape Plan, but if you read through his like Wikipedia,
okay,
he's done like every band you could imagine. He's done so much stuff. I think he did a Norma Jean record, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
But he's done anyway. Great stuff.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of good stuff slated to come out this year too.
You got shows coming up that you're looking forward to going to?
My son just saw Tool on Valentine's Day. He took his girlfriend to Tool. I begged and pleaded for tickets for that, but the PR rep said you got to message me earlier, Dustin. This is Tool.
Oh.
The thing is, it's tough with that stuff too, because like sometimes they are like, "Oh, just wait till it's closer."
Yeah, I was just thinking that because I've had that before, where they're like, don't contact us till a few days before the show. And then I've had other ones where I waited till a few days before, and they're like, "You should have messaged 2 weeks ago." I'm like, I don't know this stuff, But...
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. I miss Tool.
Yeah,
but I think they're playing actually tonight as well, or tomorrow. I know they're playing they're playing 3 LA dates. So
okay. Yeah, well, I was gonna say too, like me getting into a show here is probably easier than you getting into one there, right?
Yeah, that's the other thing. There's a lot of takers here,
right?
So, well, I have
without doing photography, does that hurt you to go to a review?
Yeah.
Does it?
I think it does.
We gotta get you a camera.
Yeah, I gotta start doing that. I've actually gotten. I have this little handheld HD camera, and it's really not that good. But I took it to.
Yeah, you don't want that. We gotta get you a decent camera because like once you start getting amazing shots, like right up by the stage, it's a rush.
Well, also you get they always offer me press passes, but I'm like, nah, I don't need. Like, it's useless for me to have that.
Sure,
I'm not gonna go in the photo pit.
Right.
And if I am, I don't have a good camera, so they're just gonna throw me out.
Yeah, there's always one person that tries to get into the photo pit with like a cell phone or something, or a little point and shoot, and it's like that's not going to work here.
Yeah,
but
yeah, they even gave me shit about my handheld. It's like one of those little HD pocket cams.
Oh,
and it's not that good. It does video and
yeah.
photos, but it takes video and photos. So that I had it on photo mode, but the guy's like, "Hey, no video." Like one of the security guards grabbed me and was like, "No video." I'm like, "I'm not taking video." I showed him like it's just photos, just stills. Yeah. So anyway, we'll see there's a couple really good shows coming up that I want to catch. I definitely want to catch Darkest Hour next month.
Okay.
They're playing where I saw Suffocation at 7:20 or 17:20.
Okay. Yeah, I was just thinking I got to get a request in for Devil Wears Prada and Fit for a King. They're coming here next weekend. So,
ooh, that reminds me, Lamb of God and Mastodon. That's another one I want to see. And then if Pantera is coming through this year, I didn't get to see them last year, so.
Yeah, I was talking. That's funny that you bring them up. I was talking to an older guy a couple of weeks ago, and he was just like, "That's not Pantera."
Yeah, it's not.
I said, you know what? Like for us guys that are a little bit younger, like I never had the chance to see Pantera. So for me, like this is the closest I would get to seeing a legendary band like that, and it doesn't bother me as much probably as some of the older guys, but I mean, I get it. But at the same time, it's like, well, this is what we have now. So what are you going to do?
Yeah, I talked about, in fact, maybe we can watch that again today. I did this clip with the guy from Kill the Lights, Mike Thomas from Kill the Lights. We watched this clip about, and it's really good because it's Dimebag telling a story about him and Zakk Wylde getting into trouble.
Mm.
So maybe we should just visit that for a minute. We don't have to watch the whole thing because it's kind of long. but I think you'll appreciate it. Especially to me, it was just solidified the thing, and it's like, okay, Zach is the absolute perfect person to be doing this.
Well, and I wonder, like, how many of these older guys would feel different about Pantera continuing on if there was never bad blood between, you know, the Abbott brothers and Phil and stuff like that, and like, had they been Pantera the whole time up until their deaths or something, like, would we feel different about it now? You know,
totally. Well, one of the things my son and I talked about, we're talking about the other day, because we were watching like some live Pantera video. We're talking about it was when they played that Moscow show several years ago. It was like Metallica, Pantera, and a couple other bands.
Yeah.
Pantera opened for Metallica, and people were just like, "Yo, how do you follow that?" And so we were talking
that Domination live video.
It's all black and white, and it's got the video of the Russian cops.
Amazing.
Like, yeah. And we watched that back to back with like Metallica, and I was like, notice what the big difference between Pantera and Metallica, what separates them is the drummer.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's night and day. Not no disrespect to Lars, because I love Lars, but you can, like, that's the difference. Like, Vinny is a rock solid drummer, like metal drummer, and Lars is a little bit more like kind of basic, I guess is a good word to use, because he's not a bad drummer. He's just not super technical like Vinny is.
Right.
Anyway, let's watch this Dime clip real quick. I already played it once, like I said, but that stream, so get this, that stream got pulled from Facebook because I showed a clip from Some Kind of Monster.
Seriously?
Yeah, like it was like a less than a minute clip of it's a clip where Lars and Dave Mustaine are talking.
Yeah.
You hurt me.
Well, Some Kind of Monster is making too much money. I mean, we can't take it away from them.
Yeah, totally. It wasn't Metallica, obviously. That it was UMG that striked us.
Right.
But it's like they don't even strike you. All they do is they're like, you can't monetize this. Like, any money that it makes goes to the copyright holder.
Yeah.
So I can cut it out of YouTube. Like, this is another thing that's crazy. I did a before we go into this. So I did a stream with this girl, Molly Diago, and we talked about this documentary, right? And it's a documentary about women in metal, and the footage and everything seems like pretty much fair use. Like, there's no copyrightable material in it. So the other day I logged into our YouTube and I had a strike for something. I'm like, what now? You know, and I look at it, and there is like a small clip in the show where they're playing Within Temptation, like in the background under the narrator. Like, and it's literally like 30 seconds. And that's what they striked me for. Like, a little clip of Within Temptation. They're like, so I just cut it out. I just cut that out of the scene. But that kind of stuff annoys me.
It's like, this stuff works, because it's like, you know, I know some musicians too, they get flagged for their own music.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, wow, this is getting kind of crazy.
It's algorithmic. And listen, to some degree, I support it, because artists should be paid for their work. You know, I'm not, but it's also like, when it's got to be better regulated, because that was not like, if someone's clearly just like reposting your song, or like, you know, even doing commentary on your music and playing it if you don't want it, like, fine.
Right.
But that was like a tiny little piece of a montage, right, where they're like talking over it, and they're like dug that up and striked me for it. I'm just like, what?
Well, yeah, because on the flip side, there's a lot of times, you know, whether it's us or someone else, you know, you bring something to the table that we talk about. Well, someone else might have never heard of that before if it wasn't for this, you know. So it's like, it goes both ways.
Yeah,
so you're actually helping artists out by bringing that stuff to the table or whatever too. But
well, and that's what, like, I do another stream, like a political commentary stream sometimes, and when I do that, I talk about news clips, and 9 times out of 10 they want those clips to circulate, so they'll let you use them. Right. You can talk about a CNN clip and play it on the air, or a Fox News clip, or a MSNBC clip, or ABC News, or whatever. It's fair use. So because they're covering news. But some of these things where it's like, I get it if it's a song, but if it's like an interview or something, like we did that Offspring interview with Trujillo, they didn't strike us for that. They want people to see that.
Right.
And I'm sure that we helped them get some views because a lot of people didn't even know it existed in our world until we covered it. So, you know, I'm not taking credit.
Then I always chuckle because we get the trolls that are like, you're making money off of this. I'm like, I'm not making jack off of this.
No. Honestly, we have ads now. When we get to the point that we're breaking even, because I have to pay every month for server costs and all this stuff. When we get to the point that we're breaking even, I mean, I'll celebrate, you know, like once everything's paying for itself, great. But we're not even there yet. So, because once we get to there, then we can start going, okay, now we have some residual actual money coming in. We can reinvest it in like better cameras or like a studio or like starting to pay us people.
Yeah, but until then, shut up, trolls.
They love it though. Honestly, here's the other thing. The trolls are good for business because
the comments bump up the algorithms.
Engagement is what the algorithm cares about. So it doesn't matter what people are saying as long as they're talking under your video, that helps. So
I suppose, and that's why they do a lot of, you know, news does a lot of clickbait out there because they just want clicks and comments. So
yeah. Well, we have 20 minutes to kill, so let's watch this Zach clip for a minute, and we can stop for the Diamond Zach clip, and then we can stop. And again, I've already played this, so forgive me if you already saw it, but Joey, you got to see this. It's really good.
Man, I don't even know where to start. Just me and that dude had everything in common from day one, man. And
talking about Zach,
you know, we kind of helped turn each other into more of a maniac than we were to begin with. Just fucking all love and respect to Zach and the Black Label camp, you know. I think the best story is, well, every time we get around each other, it's just something's going to get broke, somebody's going down in flames, and shit's going to fly. It's just how it goes, you know. And so he came down to do this this photo shoot for the cover of Guitar World magazines. We got all dressed up in camo paint.
I have that issue, by the way.
Went out in the weeds, and took some pictures and shit, you know, and tanking up all day long and getting shit rolling. And by about well, this was a long extended day. It started around 2 o'clock that day, and he was supposed to be on a plane at something like 9 o'clock at night. He had to get home, take care of Barbara and the kids, and fucking it was Christmas time and all this stuff. And the main thing was to get Zach on the fucking plane so he didn't miss his flight, you know. And so, in the midst of all the hell raising and crazy shit that's going on, we get the photo shoot done and all the interview and everything done. And Zach's jamming to some of our new shit, and I was like, dude, man, if you want to blow a lead on that, man, I'd love to have you. He'd go, dude, I'll fucking do it right now. You know, Zach, man, I ain't scared of shit. You know, we took him downstairs, plugged him up, I tuned him up, and he sat down and just put on the fucking pop.
Okay, I have to pause for a second. The term blow a lead, I thought was like, it's a little like dirty to some degree, but anyway, I just thought that was funny. He said, yeah, blow a lead on this.
And just fucking blaze this fucking amazing lead. And we're like, dude, that's it, dude. And he's like, no, one more time, bro. He goes again, and fucking was even better. We're like, dude, leave it alone. That's it. It's done. So he plays the outro lead on Reborn, and just more shit. Just we can't ever run out of stuff to do because something's always going on, you know.
Have you listened to any of the Damage Plan stuff?
Yeah, I mean it's been a while, but
yeah, Zach must have Zach must have played on some of the Damage Plan stuff. Is what he's talking about, I think.
So we're starting to get pretty blazed up, man, and it's about time to get Zach to the fucking airport. And somehow or another, we were at that point to where it was about to go over the edge, but we hadn't quite broke into insanity yet. And hugs and kisses, everybody we get Zach out of there. He's going to the airport. He's going to do the family thing, and everything's perfect. And I'm like, God, I can't believe that actually worked out because we know how it's going to go. Get a call about 30 minutes later. I'm sitting at a restaurant, or about actually more like an hour and 30 minutes later. I'm sitting at a restaurant getting some grub, and it's fucking Nick Bocott, and he goes, Damage? It's Nicholas Bocott. We're here at the fucking airport with fucking Zach went to the bar to get a fucking beer and he missed his fucking flight and it was the last flight out. We're coming back. And I said, come on. So that's when the madness began. He got back and he's like, all right, bro, we're in for the long fucking haul. I'm like, let's go. We started tanking just fucking ridiculous amounts. and get back to the house, and we're fucking just jamming tunes and fucking going ape shit. And it's about 5 in the morning. Somehow or another, I'm still fucking hanging. And I like call up the limo guy. This dude that's been driving me for years. I call him up and I said, dude, look, you gotta come get fucking Zach. Put him in a fucking car. Get him to the airport. My old lady's booked him a flight. You know, it's like, come get him. It's his flight's at 8 o'clock. It's like 5 now. Just come on over and let's get him moving that way. He's like, dude, I don't have a car handy, but I'll tell you what, I just got my wife a brand new Ford Expedition. I can drive him in that. I'm like, dude, he doesn't need a fucking limo. Just come get him and get him there. Because his old lady's getting tight. And
This is where it gets crazy.
Fuck. Anyway, so, dude, here comes the limo guy. Pulls up. And normally he comes in and, like, you know, stocks the limo, gets the ice and everything and shit out of my house because, you know, we're bros and stuff. And he comes in to take a fucking piss, left his car running out there, and I jump in it with Zach. And I got this big metal Christmas tree in my fucking front yard. And I go, let's get a pull, you know, pop it in gear, light them up, burn the tires off, and smash into this Christmas tree. Shit goes flying everywhere. And we're like, woo! Pull it back around. And I'm like, dude. Let's get out and act like nothing happened. He goes, fuck that, let me get a pull, bro. And he gets behind the wheel. And we took off on the fucking true blessed hell ride from hell for about 45 minutes. First thing, stop sign, flattens it, 4 mailboxes in a row. Fucking, here goes the fucking fence. We're lost, dude. We're out in the cow pasture and shit, you know, where my house is and shit. And anyway, man, next thing we're on a fucking soccer field. We're everywhere, just taking dips and shit, flying all over the fucking place in this thing. I mean, it was
Grand Theft Auto.
Man, very
Yeah,
dangerous,
no kidding.
man. But goddamn, we had a good time, man. And we get back to the house. The fucking best part was Nick Bocott and the rider was sitting in the back seat, and they're fucking flying all over the place. Oh God, let me out! Holy shit! You know, I got a hold of the old shit handle and go, goddamn, oh shit, and we're flying. Anyway, 5 minutes of just non-stop. And so we get back to the house, we come pulling up, dude. All the fucking rearview mirrors are hanging off this fucking thing. It has no front bumper. The headlights are both smashed out. The fucking windshield smashed. Scratches, everything. The whole undercarriage is dragging the fucking ground. And we come pulling up in it, and smoke's coming out of the hood. And I throw the door open before I could say a word. My limo guy's standing there, and he goes, that's my boys. Ain't nothing Zach and Dom can't pay for. You know, and so, anyway, that's the story has a really cool ending. So, anyway, Zach got stuck. He fucking missed his flight. Stays at my house for like 2 more days. And, dude, it was nonstop fucking just going. And then we try to get him to the airport. We get him there, and he goes to the fucking bar again. Stays in this room. He got in so much fucking trouble. He finally gets home. And my old lady has to call the warden up and tell her, hey, dude, they just, because we put the car in the shop just to see what it would take. And they said it's totaled. You know, luckily we had some friends at the Ford shop. Westway, thank you. And they said, look, I'll tell you what we'll do. Get us a Zach guitar and a dime guitar. We'll sell this fucking thing on the auction. We'll take the money and we'll roll him into a 2003 car and we'll get him a brand new one for his old lady. They'll be happy.
2003.
So we actually made all that happen. She got the brand new car. Oh, she was tight too. But anyway, the limo dude's wife got the new car and fucking. Anyway, so the cops call the house, you know, and they like found the license plate.
They probably got her a better car than she had too.
Yeah.
A newer model.
Playing on the fucking soccer field and shit. And they're like, we got calls all last night about some long-haired, blonde-haired dude in dime bag driving through the neighborhood, raising hell, running down mailboxes, and tearing up shit. You know, we need the boys to come down here and talk to us and give us a statement. And I was like, dude. You know,
we done got on their website and found out he's the guitar player for Ozzy Osbourne. They were like all excited. They thought they had their Michael Irvin. They were going to get one, you know.
This is right at Christmas time, you know. And
He's
so
the guitar player for Ozzy Osbourne.
yeah, we got him up on the website right now. And my old lady went down, talked to him, told him sorry. Look, they just got a little out of hand. You know, sorry, Zach's a big dude, and when he's out of control, you can't really, you know, just watch out, let him go. You know, you can't really straighten a dude like that out. You know, and he goes, oh, we're gonna let it slide since it's Christmas holidays, but we're gonna have to have y'all come on down. You know, first of next year, and come on down. Chief wants to see Dimebag here anyway. So they start calling, dude. I go down there. This is after Christmas. I'm just fucking. I'm done. Call my attorney, dude. I need you to come down here, dude. I don't want to be incriminated. Oh yeah, we got criminal mischief charges on you, Mr. Zach Wild. We need to come on down. And anyway, so I go down there. My lawyer is there before I am, and he comes out and he goes, Dom, it's gonna be a little different than I think you think it's gonna be. Let's go on in and let's deal with this guy. And we walk in. The guy walks up and he goes, "Hey, how you doing, Mr. Dimebag? Nice to meet you. Finally get to meet you. You know what, man? It's really such a nice honor to have you living in our community, and we kind of look at you as the ambassador at Dalworthington Gardens, and just was so cool to me. I couldn't believe I got my checkbook in one pocket. I'm freaking. I'm just like ready to just shell out whatever." And he's like, "You know, man, we like to take care of kids. We do a bunch of homeless kid stuff. We like to work with all this stuff. And every report I've ever got on you has been nothing but great, man. Said you spent good time with the kids, gave them right wisdom, and, you know, signed their autograph and told them to straighten up and fly right. And that's the kind of guy we need around here. Now, about all this other stuff, we're going to let it slide, but you need to go fix on Mr. Chapman's fence down there on the left. And we took care of the stop signs and the mailboxes, and just try not to let it happen again." I was like, "You gotta be kidding me, man."
Every minute of it, man. He called me up. I was worried. I was like, "Man, he's gonna be in jail for a few years."
Freaking, dude.
He called me up and he goes, "You're not gonna believe what happened." I said, "No," and he told me that, and I was like, "You gotta be kidding!" Wow.
So,
all right.
So, dude, not only did we not have to pay for the car, not only we didn't get fucking thrown in jail. All we had to do is shell a couple of guitars out, and dude, that is by the grace of fucking God. We won't let it happen again.
Oh,
You have to
man.
chop that one up, but
That's a good one.
every time, dude, it's something like that. Every time.
Great.
So anyway, that's how much of a history Zach and Dime have.
Yeah, that's well, it's crazy. That's over 20 years ago. If that was from 2003.
Yeah, at the end of 2002, beginning of 2003.
Yeah. Yeah, I looked up the Damage Plan track list. Zach played on 2 songs.
There
I
it
should
is.
go back and listen to that. It's been years since I listened to that.
Yeah, I listened to it when it came out, but I was as a big Pantera fan, I was sour. You know, I was like, oh, they're just trying to do Pantera without Phil.
Oh no, you probably like it now. Going back.
Yeah, I need to listen to it again.
Yeah,
because
I mean, I remember it good enough. It's a solid album, but Corey Taylor's on that too.
On the Damage Plan?
He's on,
Oh,
I
wow.
guess, vocals on a song.
Man, I didn't even notice that. I will have to listen to that.
Where have you
So
been?
we got Keith Wallen coming up in about 10 minutes. We're just chatting and killing some time here, but I wanted to show you this death metal video too, Joey, because I thought this is pretty funny. And it's rare that this is from a couple of years ago. But let's just watch it. It's funny.
Does this finally settle the debate over death metal? A new study out of Australia finds that listening to death metal music does not desensitize you to violence, as everybody used to say. Actually, it inspires joy. Researchers had fans and non-fans listen to death metal or pop while looking at disturbing images to see how it affects their sensitivity to violence. Turns out metalheads are just as sensitive to violence as everyone else. In other words, your parents, your principal, and Tipper Gore, they're all wrong and owe you, the metalhead, an apology. In fact, concluded researchers, the dominant emotional response to this music is joy and empowerment. Now, for more on this story, we've got Lars von Larsen on the phone. He's the lead singer of the Norwegian death metal band Satan's Groin. So, Lars, this is a pretty groundbreaking study. What was your reaction when you heard the news? That's great to hear, Lars, but don't you ever worry about your songs inspiring violence?
Ice cold baby demon.
I could see that. It's really a great song. So do you worry this study will ruin your image in the world at large? Well, thanks. I have been hitting the gym more often. You know, we should hang out this weekend, Lars. Fair enough. Thanks, Lars.
I thought that was pretty clever. That's pretty good.
That's fun. It reminds me. I don't know how many years ago it was, but Jamie Josta talked about doing a thing about like metal guys doing unmetal things.
Yeah.
And, I don't know whatever came out of that, if you did it or not, but it's just so funny. Like, they have their personas on stage, but then in real life, they're doing the stuff he's talking about. Like going to their kids' recitals or gardening.
Have you seen the Danzig photo where he's walking out of the store with cat litter or cat food and stuff?
Oh.
Yeah, it's hilarious. It's like Danzig gets memed all the time because he's the kind of dude who goes to the store and stuff. And so, they're like, there's a picture of him like carrying like a big box of cat litter like out of the store. And they're like, Danzig's so metal. They're obviously taking the piss.
But yeah, I mean, like you can be the biggest rock star and you're still just a normal person. Like it's all the stage persona thing. And
well, one of the clips that we played a couple weeks ago was about Kurt Cobain, and the guy from Fall Out Boy said something that stuck with me. He said like Kurt Cobain, he's like, when I was a kid, I didn't like Nirvana because they were popular, and I was one of those people who's like, oh, if it's popular, it's crap.
Yeah.
And he's like, and that's how Kurt Cobain was. He was like the ultimate of those people. He was like, they got so big, he like wasn't comfortable with it because he wasn't like one of those like I'm a elite rock star. He was just
it essentially killed him.
Yeah. The Nirvana, the grunge thing. We've talked about this a lot, but it was a backlash to the excesses of glam rock as much as punk was a backlash to the excesses of prog music.
Yeah.
There's a little bit.
I think like the peak of new metal was kind of bringing back some of that rock star stuff again, but then like now it's like you talk to these musicians and stuff, and it's a business and it's their livelihood and they got to take it serious, and they can't be doing a bunch of this Woodstock 99 partying kind of stuff anymore, like
it's a grind. It's
right.
Talking to the people that are on the road a lot. It's like I mean drinking, I had like, especially at our age, it's like at my age, you're younger than me, but like at my age, drinking, it's like, it's a thing. It's a whole thing. Like if I'm going to go out drinking, like I need a whole day to recover.
Yeah.
Like if I was on the road, I would be hating my life,
Yeah. And another thing I heard in an interview a while back too, that I didn't make the connection, but like these bands have to go on tour because it's not just about making money themselves. It's like their whole road crew, that's their livelihood too. So they need to keep these tours going and,
Yeah, that's one of the things that really impressed me about Josh Todd from Buck Cherry is how he was like, yo, like this is a business. He's like, I got mouths to feed, I got a crew to feed. So, we crank out a record and we hit the road. And I'm sure that most places he goes, people want to hear Crazy Bitch and what's that? Lit Up. Yeah, for the movies, that's a great song. But Lit Up is like their big breakout hit.
Oh yeah.
Interesting to note, I didn't know this until recently. Terry Date actually produced their first album too. The guy who did the Pantera records.
Okay, yeah, that name sounds really familiar.
Yeah. Well, so there's a little bit more on this, a little bit of panel discussion we can watch as we're waiting for Keith to pull up.
I love where you paused it just here.
Yeah, his face right there.
Did you ever go through a death metal phase?
Uh-huh.
When?
In high school.
Oh.
But I this doesn't surprise me at all because it's just media, right?
Yeah.
It's just media. I watch mostly Teen Mom and true crime shows about murder, and yet I've never given birth and I've never given death. Is that a thing? Seriously, I also watch a lot of Toddlers and Tiaras, never put a wig on a child, watch a lot of Intervention, have never taken even a single hit of crack, not to brag.
Thank God.
Played a lot of Mario Kart, still can't drive. If this were true that media really influenced us the way a lot of people like to say it does, I would be like a serial killing, crack smoking lady with 3 kids from 3 different fathers with a passion for children's choreography. And my apartment would be littered with dead bodies and children, and it just isn't, Greg. So not to brag again. So I think that people really, they overblow it. They really do. And if you do something messed up and blame it on media, you were probably just messed up to begin with.
Yeah. Now they do that with politicians. They're like, so-and-so did something and he was a Democrat or he was a Trump supporter and he's a terrible, try to hang it around the political people.
Yeah, I don't know. I find if you're that easily influenced by media or something, you got bigger problems than the media. But
Right.
Agree? Disagree?
No, I agree, but why did Lars look like a White Walker from the Game of Thrones?
I have no idea. I don't see skin color.
That's the issue you had with that? Was his look?
I was like, that chick is hot. What show is she from? And then her card comes up and it's like National Security Analyst. As if I needed any more proof, that's a meaningless title. All right, Keith's here, man. Let's let's pull this down right now. Keith, welcome.
Howdy, boys. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Good to chat with you again.
What's that?
I said it's good to chat with you again. I actually, I was going to tell you when I first started on with Brutal Planet here, you were my 3rd interview ever, and I was so nervous to talk to you because you're one of my favorite musicians. So I apologize for my awkwardness in that interview if you remember it.
Dude, that is amazing. I'm honored. And by the way, nice shirt.
Thank you. I also got my coffee mug.
Hell yeah.
We rock your music in this house, so
I love it. I need now, seriously, this is a serious request. I need about 500 million more of you. Yeah, so get working, man. Get busy.
I have 4 kids, so I'm working.
There we go.
Yep.
That's a great start.
We can get you at least 4.
That's perfect.
So we're started, yeah.
Oh, it's really cool to have you back. I was going to say, I wanted to start out by talking about like really old music because this is going to be 10 years since Allies came out.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And Hello Houston is still one of my favorite songs that you've ever done.
Wow.
And I just want to ask you about that song specifically. Like, where did that come from?
Yeah, I think whenever I wrote that, I was, really, I've had that idea for even longer than that. I think I came up with that idea around 2008. And I kind of just always kept it. I always thought that it was kind of a cool chorus and a cool idea and concept. Yeah, I just was at a time in my life where I think I was in between bands at the time. I just kind of left my band, my first band, my first love, of like, being in a band and really trying to make a go of it. I had just kind of decided to kind of leave that project. And I was pretty heartbroken about it, man. I really thought that, that was going to be, my, I don't know, not ticket, but like, just, I thought that we would have a longer go with that. But, and I'm still friends with the bass player from that band, one of my best friends, but we just had a hard time keeping band members. And,
sure.
It's a hard thing, all kinds of different personalities. Some people are, addicted to drugs and everything else. It's just hard. So it was time for a change, but I was just bummed, and I was kind of at a real, just kind of lonely place, an isolated place, I felt like, with my career and my life. And so that's just kind of where those lyrics came from. I just felt like was just kind of out there somewhere and like, man, I need a helping hand. Can anybody hear me? You know, and I just kind of thought of the whole space kind of analogy kind of thing. But yeah, that was a long time ago. And I think whenever I was, finally decided to kind of record some stuff, that was one that came up, and I finally kind of put it down and did the kind of the piano version of it.
Yeah, I love, like, we'll play it here pretty loud, on Alexa or whatever, and my wife will be harmonizing to it. It's just, I just love hearing it. So, Dustin, if you haven't heard that song, you got to check that one out for sure.
Yeah, I mostly listen to a lot of the new stuff.
Oh yeah, that's cool too.
Yeah, you definitely made a shift over the last decade into, I'd say, harder rock from that first EP or whatever. But do you have any like piano ballads on the new EP or on the new album coming out? Or?
I don't. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I've heard that a few times, but really the reality is I started off just with rock. I was in rock bands, and for me, doing the piano EP, to me that was a kind of a departure to something different. And so now I'm just kind of getting back to what I've kind of
your roots
skills on. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's there's a whole wide variety of things on this album. Nothing that I would classify as a piano ballad, but there's some slower songs in there, and there's some songs that are very very personal. I mean, all of them are personal to some degree. They're about things I've experienced, and even if things that I've experienced in the subconscious level and didn't even realize it, I really try to tap into that kind of thing. And yeah, it was really, a lot of it was inspired by an ayahuasca experience trip.
Oh, nice.
That I had a few years back. And I think whenever this kind of process began to write this album, I kind of started working on these songs, and I, you try to find a common theme sometimes. Sometimes it's just like, hey, this is living on its own island or whatever. But I try to kind of like tie them all together in a nice way. And this was what I brought it back to. I just thought to myself, man, all these things kind of tie back to this experience I had with ayahuasca, and I saw just so many just crazy things, and definitely it was a journey for sure. So yeah, it's kind of all over the place, yeah, there's a song about my father that passed away when I was 19, and there was a part when I was hallucinating and in the middle of this thing where just like I had this moment where there was just like this light at the end of the tunnel. And it sounds so cliche, I know, but there really was like this light, and like that was like flashing, and this like, it was like figures were walking in front of the light, just kind of back and forth. And then this one figure just got between me and the light and just kind of stepped forward a little bit. And it was just like, it had a golden silhouette. And I remember thinking to myself, I was like, I'm so grateful that I did this. Like at that moment, I just felt like this overwhelming feeling of gratitude, and just, it was incredible. I was like, I can't believe I decided, because I'm not a big drug person, like I don't even know why I decided to do this, other than just I had heard that it was a different thing, and it's a powerful thing, and it's used to kind of heal people, therapeutic in a way. So I'm like, all right, maybe this is something different. But at that moment, I really was grateful that I decided to do it, and it was very inspiring. I definitely came out the other side a little bit changed, a different person for sure.
That's so cool. I'm a huge advocate of psychedelics, and I just saw Aaron Rodgers from the Green Bay Packers talking about an ayahuasca experience on Joe Rogan. So it's not uncommon.
Yeah, it's a thing. Usually people, I think they go down to kind of the South America, Amazon area, and there's a shaman, and they call it medicine, and I really believe it can be really beneficial for all types of things. You kind of, I don't know, you kind of really dig inside, yourself, and deal with trauma, whether it's just like trauma that you didn't remember, or trauma that you do remember, and it's just very therapeutic, I think. So
Yeah, there's actually I just read a thing about how they're trying to they're experimenting with psychedelics like mushrooms and MDMA on for PTSD with like veterans, and it's like having incredible results. So
yeah, it's really magical stuff, I think. Obviously, with anything out there in the world, it can be abused. But I think if used properly in the right doses and amounts, I think it can be beneficial.
So is that what helps get all the inspiration for this great songwriting then, or?
I mean, I try to use any inspiration I can get, man. And by the way, I back to all that. I'm no doctor, so please don't.
Any medical advice on this stream is for entertainment purposes only.
Exactly.
Consult your doctor.
Exactly. This is only my own experiences only. Yeah. But no, I try to draw inspiration from every little thing. I mean, life. I mean, this life we're living. It's a crazy trip in itself.
Right.
And I just try to be just grateful for every second that I have and every moment. I mean, it really is a beautiful thing. But I mean, yeah, I'll watch movies. I mean, you could watch. God, I mean, I'm a child of the '80s, so you could just watch Blade Runner and write a whole album about just that one movie. And I mean, there's so much cool imagery and cool sounds, and so yeah, anything and everything.
Keith, can you tell kind of your origin story? Like, how did you get into music? What led you to be a career musician? How did you get started?
Well, it was kind of a combination of things, I think. My father was a singer back many years ago, and he had just a little recording contract in New York City, and I think he made some vinyls and things, and he met my mother, who was kind of one of these, like, she was a member of like a traveling dance troupe, and so they kind of met in that kind of scenario, which was cool. So I think I've always kind of had a little bit of the entertainment industry and business kind of in my blood and DNA. So my dad would always listen to music when I was young, lots of Frank Sinatra, all kinds of stuff, and really loved it. So I was around it a lot. And then the other kind of combination that kind of was thrown in there was one of my best friends when I was growing up. We'd be hanging out, and then his grandfather kind of taught him kind of how to play guitar and how to do some stuff. And then when I would go over there, he would teach me, like my friend would teach me kind of some stuff that he learned. And I'd go over there. I was like, man, I want to, like, let's go play basketball and stuff. But he was always playing guitar. So I was like, man, I got to learn how to play guitar now so we can like hang out and like jam. So that's kind of how that happened. And then, he taught me a few Metallica songs, and I was hooked from that point on. It was kind of like, hey, let's, we were in bands together, and and so here I am, 20 some odd years later, still doing it amazingly.
That's awesome. Metallica is the genesis of so many rock musicians these days. It's cool to hear that.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm just, it really picking up that guitar. I think that was really the thing that kind of changed my life trajectory forever. I think it really did seriously change my life. That, and also my brother gave me a Metallica tape for Christmas. It was the Black Album. And I mean, that changed my life too. I mean, from that point on, I was just like, let's go.
Yeah.
That was my intro to Metallica as well, was the Black Album.
Yeah, man. It's a good one. And that's like my musical hero. James Hetfield is like, he's my hero, man. Like, and I've been seeing all these videos of, their new album, their new tour. And I've seen somebody on Instagram where he's just kind of chilling before the show, like smoking cigars.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, he's so cool. He's so cool. So yeah, man, it's awesome.
That's cool. Well, bringing up Metallica, that actually, I was going to ask you, I was going to circle back to this, because the last time I interviewed you, I said, if Metallica asked Keith Wallen to come up and play one song with them, what song would you pick to play with Metallica? And you kind of dodged my question. And I said, well, next time I talk to you, I'm going to ask you again. So here we are.
Joey doesn't forget.
All right. What did I say? How did I dodge it?
Well, I just said, you're just like, man, I can't even imagine Metallica asking me to come up on stage with them. So, but I just thought, like, if you could pick any song to play with Metallica live, what would it be?
Oh, man. That sounds about right. I feel instinctually I want to answer the same way. I'm like, I haven't changed too much.
I'll just wait another 3 years and ask you.
Yeah. Yeah. Gosh.
Next album cycle.
Probably something. Probably something easy to play on guitar. You know, that's another thing. I mean, am I playing guitar? Am I singing? You know,
both.
That factors. Yeah. But yeah, no one sings and plays like he does. No. So I feel like me being there, it would just muck it up. So, you know, it would have to be something. Maybe I could play a triangle and just stay out of the way. I'll sing a harmony here and there. But
oh, that's funny.
What if they brought you on as guest guitarist?
Gosh, yeah. Again, something, you know, I'll make sure that it's like unplugged a little, so nobody's really hearing what I'm playing. So, again,
we're not going to get it.
I would just muck it up.
We're waiting 3 more years to do this again. No,
next album cycle.
You mentioned Frank Sinatra. What did you think of Mark Tremonti's version of Sinatra?
You know, I heard a little bit of that, and I was impressed. I thought.
So you haven't heard the whole album or anything?
No, I heard little snippets here and there, and I heard enough to know that, man, he killed it. You know.
Oh yeah, he did.
You know, to really just sing that way is such a different just animal than you know, rock music and stuff. And I've heard his singing on his solo stuff. It's great, and I mean, just an unbelievable guitar player. And you know, an unbelievable vocalist, and for him to kind of show that side of you know, of himself was super cool. And I'm such a Frank Sinatra fan too, so any kind of chance to kind of get more of that kind of music out to young people too, you know, and it was great. It's such an amazing cause, right. I could not be more of a fan of that guy. And
yeah, I just thought if you said you grew up on Sinatra, listen, you know, your dad was listening to it, that if you hadn't heard that album yet, you should check it out because he nails it.
Yeah, it's super awesome, man, and just he's such a great dude, such a nice guy. Like all my experiences with, you know, tours here and there. Would love to do another tour with you know, Alter Bridge or Creed or whatever, man. Whether it's with Breaking Band, my solo stuff, it'd be an unbelievable honor.
So this new album, it's coming out May 3rd, was it?
May 3rd. Yep.
We got 2 singles out so far. Do you want to talk about either one of those?
Sure. Yeah. The first single was Strings. Yeah, wrote that with some just, you know, some really great songwriters, pals in Nashville. Yeah, it's I was super excited to get that first one out. You know, it's always kind of an interesting feeling whenever you have a song about to come out. You know, it's like a perfect combination of being excited but also terrified, because, you know, you're like, oh shit, it's about to happen. But you know, at some point you just gotta be like, you know what, just gonna let it go out to the world and let it go. But yeah, I was really happy how this album turned out, and you know, I wanted to kind of come out of the gate with something that had some, you know, some energy, and I feel Strings kind of had that right kind of vibe, and Headspace Holiday, the one that just came out, I guess, a week ago. Same kind of thing. I was fortunate enough to get in the room with just an amazing songwriter, Cody from Wage War.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he's just on fire right now. He's had his hand in so many just great rock songs and just hits like over the last few years now. And you know, I've been friends with him for a bit. How
did you meet up with Cody? Because it doesn't seem like the genres like you guys would be touring together. But
see, now that's I'm hoping we can change that narrative. I would love to get a tour with Wage War. I mean,
amen. They're phenomenal.
They're so awesome, and I think it would fit okay. You know, rock is rock, you know?
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I think, gosh, when did I meet him? I met him in New York City. I was there. I think we had like a day off or something, and we went and watched Wage War play. I can't remember the venue, but man, they were awesome. And we we were able to get backstage and meet them afterwards, and they were super cool. And
he's got a killer voice too.
Oh man, really great, like really great voice, and just incredible writer. But yeah, able to get in the room with him, and we just came up with some stuff and laid it down, and and made the record, and here it is as a single, and hopefully I get some radio love for this one.
Okay.
It's a beautiful time for music, I feel like, because like all that genre blending is just happening like wild. Like you look at like Jelly Roll as one example. It's Joey has kind of showed me his stuff, and it's just he's all over the place, but it's just good music. It doesn't fit in any genre.
Absolutely, I'm always a fan of that. I mean, gosh, there's a lot of it. Jelly Roll, Hardy. There is a really awesome artist coming up now too. Her name's Royal Lynn, and she has an amazing song out called 6 Feet Deep. And I was fortunate enough to meet her, I guess, a couple months ago, and I'm sure if you guys haven't heard of her, you will, because she's great. And so
Royal Lynn,
that's her name. Yeah, she's great voice, just cool songs, cool vibe, everything. So there's some great artists coming out, man, and I'm just trying to find my little spot in there too.
No, it's awesome. We did like the end of the year, like our top 10 albums of last year, and two. I felt really awkward, like being on a rock/metal media thing like this, and I'm like, I can't deny it. Like Jelly Roll and Hardy, both their albums made my top 10 for the year. But there's a little bit of crossover, but it's just like when it's good music, it's good music,
Dude, that's it. That is it. If it's good, it's good. And I mean, we like what we like, It doesn't have to fit in any kind of fucking box or anything, Yeah,
and I'm not even a big country fan, but I'm like, these albums I rocked all year long.
Yeah. I love how country has kind of come into the fold too, though, because it like rap and rock always kind of blended. You had Run DMC and Aerosmith and Anthrax, Public Enemy, but country was kind of always separate. And I feel like now it's like country's part of the mix too. Like you got country rap crossover, country metal crossover.
Oh yeah. It's gosh, and country has just been so big for so many years. And I think people are just kind of being open-minded. I think the younger generations that come up, I think they're more open-minded to all kinds of music, which is an amazing thing. Even myself, I never really cared for country music growing up, but I find myself, hearing some of these old 90s country songs and be like, oh man, I remember that song. And it just reminds me of just being back. And it just gives me a good feeling. So I'm like, maybe I like country. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm not
artists like from that era, like Garth Brooks too, like have kind of a rock and roll edge.
Oh yeah. And just
he was smashing guitars on stage back in the day, and he was.
Oh hell yeah, That's what's more rock and roll than that.
Yeah.
Didn't he do like a project as like a rock guy too? Chris Gaines. He like did.
I don't think that one took off very good.
It didn't, but I thought that was cool that he kind of like tried that.
Yeah. I think that was kind of more of a marketing thing for a movie, and then the movie didn't come out, so then it was just like, this is weird, but. I don't know. I haven't listened to it. I'm sure the songs are good though, if he had a hand in them.
Yeah, and they might be. You might nowadays you might look back on them with fresh ears and go, "Oh wow, these are cooler than I remember."
Right. Yeah.
Well, and if you've never seen like Brantley Gilbert live or something, like that's a rock show. That's.
Man, I bet. I have never seen them live, but I heard they're awesome.
He opened up for Five Finger Death Punch, and it's like.
Yeah,
if Death Punch is bringing him on tour, like it's gonna rock. So,
yeah, that's perfect. That's super cool. Yeah, shout out to Noah Henson. He plays for him. Yeah, used to be in a band called Pillar, Known him
I
for a
remember
while.
him.
But man, yeah, he's just killing it out there. So it's awesome.
You co-wrote a Pillar song not too long ago, didn't you?
That was a long time ago.
Was it a while ago? Okay.
Yeah, that was back in 2000 something. I don't know.
Okay.
I my age a lot. It's like back in the 80s.
Well, I know like you co-write a lot of songs, and it's hard to keep track of what is when. But yeah, I thought you did something with Pillar once.
Yeah, it's been a minute. I do try to I try to stay busy, man. Whenever there's downtime, if Breaking Ben isn't doing something, and if I'm not doing something, I just try to keep that muscle exercise and just try to stay active with music, whether it be writing or whatever. So
Yeah, Joey pointed out to me that you've co-written a lot of songs. How do you get into that as a musician? Does someone just pull you in and say, "Hey, we want to have you help with this," or is it something that you sought out?
I think it's a combination of things. I jump at the chance to just work with people. I feel like it's just the feeling you get when you write a song and you just come up with something with someone else, and it's just a true collaboration. It's just a cool feeling, man. It's like being on a team and you guys all just scored a goal and you're high-fiving. Like it really feels like that. So it's an addictive kind of thing. So any chance to kind of get with some other artists and collab, I try to jump at that. But it either comes with just kind of being on tour with people and kind of getting to know them, and you just talk at the cafeteria or whatever, catering or whatever. You're like, oh man, I've been working on this. Oh, that's cool. I write too, or whatever. And it just kind of happens that way. Or I'm also my publishing company sometimes will set up some writing sessions with some people, and so it happens that way too. But either way, it's always just a cool thing to be a part of, and and it's kind of fun also to, if you're writing with someone else, it's like I feel like it's almost not as much pressure. I mean, it's pressure because you want to come up with the coolest thing possible, and you want, if it's for someone else, you want them to have just like a great song and success and it do well. But I guess it's almost just like a little bit different because it's not like what you're saying and not, so, but at the same time, you can also look at that as like, maybe it's more pressure because it's not you have to make it double great for them. So it's an interesting thing, but I love it. I love kind of the dynamic of it and kind of the pressure that goes with it.
That's cool. Respect.
I didn't want to spend too much time on this because I wanted to promote your solo stuff, but I am curious just about Breaking Ben. Any new music soon? Like it's been 5-6 years?
Yeah, well, look, I could tell you guys, but I'd have to kill you. No, no,
we're ready to die.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of people are wondering this very same thing.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I kind of have the same answer for it. So we have a few songs recorded. We have a lot of songs written. It's just kind of nailing down the time to get it all recorded and doing the perfecting. I think 90% of them are there, and it's just that last 10%. Sometimes that can really make things special, and we're really taking time to really make sure that we're getting those things right. It's those little details. But unfortunately, that means that it's just going to take a little while longer.
Yeah.
But
all good things are worth waiting for. But just as a fan, it's just like, come on, guys, get something else.
Yeah, I know. But you know what, though? I find that it's funny. Whenever we released our last album, Ember. We released it, and I remember seeing comments like it was like maybe a week after it had come out. And I remember seeing comments just like, "Ready for the next one, guys!" And I'm just like, "God, it's already like, come on." So it's a funny thing, but yeah, we're working on it, and obviously, we love to get out there and tour. So, and that's another thing. It's like, if you don't play shows for a while, people are just like waiting for you to come to, Brazil or whatever. So yeah, we try to keep everyone happy the best we can. But also, you can't rush the creative part of things, you know.
Right,
So
right.
it will be done when it's done, and that's the best.
Well, and as a Keith Wallen fan too, like I'm okay. Like you're putting out music, and it's, you know, I get all this other good stuff too. But
well, I appreciate it, and that's another thing. That's another thing I want to make clear too is, you know, my solo project and my solo band and music, it is in no way hindering any kind of progress with Breaking Benjamin. It's
well, I know how busy you are with writing music all the time, so I figured that was never the case.
Exactly. I'd be writing, you know, anyway. So.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I remember even just a couple years ago, like we came as Romans. I'm like, oh, Keith Wallen touched this one too. Like it's amazing what you're all into. So.
Ah, man, I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
I talked to this band last week. They're like kind of a newer band called The Requiem. They're younger. It sounds kind of like My Chemical Romance. They use great band. But they name dropped you guys. They name dropped Breaking Benjamin as an influence. So I'm curious, like, how does it feel to be like you guys are an influential band at this point? Like, how does that feel? Like you guys have influenced already the next generation of musicians.
I mean, it's really cool. It's very cool. It's also like I think that just kind of eventually happens if you're old enough. But it's super cool, you know. Yeah, I mean, and also though, I feel like I can't really take too much credit though for kind of the Breaking Benjamin influence and stuff like that, because, you know, look, I've been in the band 10 years and the band has a whole track record and a whole thing before I was even there. So, sure. You know, it's hard for me to be like, yep, I did it. Oh yeah. But obviously I'm a part of it now, and any kind of praise like that is just, it's truly humbling and amazing.
Yeah, that's super cool. I appreciate that too.
So your solo, like, do you have any tours coming up for solo stuff?
You know, there's some stuff in the works. I'm not exactly sure if it's like in the books yet, but there's going to be some tours.
Okay.
If not just full tours, but maybe some sprinkling things here and there, possibly with Breaking Benjamin, opening for Breaking Benjamin.
Okay.
Which I try not to do because, number one, it's like double duty and it's hard. But also, you know, I don't want it to seem like I'm just like this tag along guy riding the coattails of Breaking Benjamin. You know, I want it to be its separate thing, and I want it, you know, whatever kind of success or whatever kind of happens, I want it to be on its own merit. So, but also on the flip side of that, if Breaking Benjamin has a show in arena and they're like, we need an opener, will you do it? I can't say no to that.
Well, of course.
I'm going to be in front of a lot of people, and I just, anything to kind of get my name out there and my music out there at this point is, you know, something I got to do. And it's a hard thing. You know, you'd think, you know, I think a lot of people think like, he's in Breaking Benjamin, of course people are going to hear his solo music. No, some people don't even know I exist. They don't even know I'm making music on my own aside from Breaking Benjamin. I see comments all the time on YouTube that are just like, you know, how is this not blah, you know, this is so underrated. So all this stuff, you know, which is it's a great comment to read, but also it's disheartening because I'm just like, man, I got to get exposed somehow. So I don't know. Maybe I should make a sex tape or some shit.
Well, that's what we're here for. We'll help a little bit. Like I said, we'll bring you at least 4 new fans.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, no, but yeah, it's hard to get out there. So many great bands, so many great things, and so much bombardment from different things, you know, TikTok and everything. I mean, even that, I've got a TikTok page, and, you know, I'm shaking my tuchus on TikTok now. So you got to.
Well, also, it's not uncommon. I just saw the band Periphery just put out some tour dates, and what their guitar player's band is opening.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it does happen from time to time. But yeah, it definitely is hard. I just finished a tour opening for Breaking Ben this last month in January, and we have a VIP sound check kind of thing too, which we perform at. So between that, my show, and Breaking Ben, I mean, it's like 3 shows a day. So it's tough, you know. And then if you know, you get sick, or if anybody else gets sick, and you kind of have to like compensate a little bit for them. You know, it's just extra. So
You need some tea and some honey and a good mug. And,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly, all that.
Well, I'm excited. I'm hoping. I don't think you guys are coming to the Twin Cities at all with Breaking Benjamin or nothing, but I think you are coming into Duluth later this spring. So I'm hoping to get up north to see you guys. But
yeah, that'd be great, man. Come on out, and hopefully I'll get some. We'll finalize some of these solo shows. I want to say that they're going to be, hopefully, I mean, surely Midwest. Hopefully, some stuff up around there. So, hopefully, not too far from you guys. But yeah, man, please let me know. Come on out.
Yeah,
I'm out on the West Coast.
Oh, you are? Are you in?
Yeah, I'm in LA. So
nice.
If you guys get out here, I'll definitely check you out.
Yeah, we always play, even with Breaking Band, we're always down in Anaheim, but I would love to just play like the Will Turn one time. Just such a cool venue, and you know, pretty close to like more so like LA rather than Anaheim, you know. But
Anaheim's a hike, but I go down there too.
Yeah, right on. Did you guys did you go to NAMM or this year?
I was NAMM adjacent. I went to a show in Anaheim with a bunch of bands, but I didn't actually go to NAMM.
Right on. Cool.
A lot of people I know did though, and I was mad jealous.
I know it looked pretty good this year. I've gone once, and it was a while ago. Yeah, it's definitely an experience for sure. So much gear, so much gear, so little time to like play it all.
Yeah. And it seems like there's so many great, like there's so many artists there and stuff. I saw so many people doing selfies with each other, and
that's awesome.
Yeah, you're based out of Nashville now?
So I am in Nashville right now for a video shoot, but I am in East Tennessee is where I live.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit outside of Knoxville. Yeah, so but I have to come to Nashville all the time. It's close enough so that it's doable, but it's just far enough so that it's like annoying.
Sure. That's how I feel about Duluth. Like, why do you guys got to play Duluth?
Yeah.
There's a lot of great people in I've noticed like a lot of Dave Mustaine's in Nashville now, like a bunch of rock bands.
Kind of the hub. It used to be like country music, and now it's like the hub for music.
Oh yeah, I think a lot of people from everywhere, whether musician or not, have moved to Tennessee. But yeah, it's definitely a lot more crowded. It seems like in Nashville than it used to be.
People figured it out.
Well, I'm gonna have to bounce, gentlemen. I got a event at my kid's school this afternoon. So, but Keith,
yeah,
it was so good seeing you again and talking to you again. So,
likewise, yeah. Once again, guys, thank you so much for having me and just giving me a platform here to just spread my music and I hope all the viewers will check it out and hope to see you guys at a show sometime. And yeah,
great.
Please come back through too, man. Like if you have something else to announce, please come talk to us again. I mean, you've talked to us before, so
I would love to.
Awesome, man. Really appreciate your time today, Keith.
Thank you guys, man.
Absolutely. Everybody check out the album. It's out. Did you say February 3rd?
May 3rd.
Yeah,
May 3rd. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's a little bit. But there's singles out. Headspace Holiday is a great song.
Thank you.
And even the back catalog, it's worth checking out. It's amazing.
I appreciate it. Yeah. Instagram. Follow me on Instagram at KJ Wallen. My music is on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, all the stuff. I'm on TikTok. Yeah, come holler at your boy.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks again, Keith. Great talking
Thank
to you.
Guys.
Take care, man.
See y'all.
Peace. All right, Joey, let's shut it down. We will see y'all next time.
All right. Sounds good. See you guys.